am Erica Bogan Mtui, and this is my husband.
Yeah, I am Winfred Mtui. We are wife and
Many
husband.
people that follow me and have followed me for years in the United States and kind of all over the world have asked and wondered how we met, how I ended up as an American citizen living in Tanzania, married to a Tanzanian citizen because my husband is a Tanzanian citizen, and how this all happened, because it happened kind of quickly.
Yeah, it's happening quickly, baby. And I hope you search these dreams long time.
Yeah.
I think maybe you know me, like as you told me before, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Before you met me.
Yeah, so I'll start kind of a little back then. I think that's a good place to start. So I actually am a paraplegic. I was paralyzed in a car accident caused by domestic violence 21 years ago in 2002. And over the last 21 years of being paralyzed, I became a very well-recognized disability advocate, motivational speaker, and also a mental health and wellness trauma-informed coach. So the way that I did that was through sharing my own story and my own troubles, and trying to help other people who are going through what I've already made it through. In 2019, I started doing Spartan races with my organization that I'm now one of the directors of, More Heart Than Scars. And I started doing like Spartan races and Tough Mudders, and my literally other half became, he's our brother now, Joey McGlamory. And in 2019, Joey had made a post on Facebook. And this happened to be right after I had lost several friends to suicide. And when I say several friends, it was back to back to back. I lost friends to suicide. And because suicidal ideation and battling that myself with my PTSD, my depression, and the things that I had, my internal scars, my invisible scars, so to speak, I knew how hard that battle was to fight when you thought you were fighting it alone. So it was really, really important to me to find a way to do something to catch people's attention and to start raising awareness, not only about suicide, but specifically suicide in the disabled community. And so Joey posts this post on Facebook talking about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which happens to be the world's tallest freestanding mountain in the world. And it is located right here in Tanzania on the border of Tanzania and Kenya. And I spontaneously commented on this Facebook post and said, let's do it. So Joey calls me and he's like, are you serious right now? I said, what, about climbing Kilimanjaro? He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, why not? He was like, in your wheelchair? It's like, why not? Let's do it. I want to get people's attention. I want to do this. I want people to hear what I have to say and to realize how big of an epidemic suicide is, specifically for people with disabilities, because our lives are very, very different, and we have a lot of invisible things that aren't talked about that cause us to come to a place, whether it's the trauma that caused us to become disabled or just being disabled and living in a world that's not built for us. It's heavy, it's hard, and I want to somehow be a voice and change that. And so Joey being Joey, he's like, all right, let's make it happen. So fast forward a little bit, originally we were supposed to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in the year 2020. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit and the world shut down. So we knew that we weren't going to Tanzania. So we postponed it to 2021. 2021 came, it was about maybe 6 months out of leaving to come here to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro. And I had one of my last visits with my doctors and specialists so everybody could make sure it was safe and that it was okay for me to go. And at the last minute, the whole team said, no, you're not going unless you are vaccinated, because right now we still don't know a lot about this virus, and we can't take a chance of you going to an underdeveloped country, getting this virus, and them not having the means to be able to keep you alive. So I knew they were right. I said, you know, if nothing else, this gives me an extra year to train so that I can really make it to the top. But Joey and Jonathan Hardis, who is my third half, so the other half of the trio, they are definitely two of my most safe people on this earth, besides my husband now, obviously. They decided, you know what, we're still gonna go this year in 2021. We're vaccinated, we're gonna go. This way we can get the experience of climbing the mountain, and we can prepare for you, so we can make sure 100% we're gonna get you to the top of this mountain. So I'm like, all right, cool. So fast forward again, they come to Tanzania, they make it to the summit, they come back down, they get back to the United States, and Joey, just being Joey, he's so excited. He's like, oh my God, I can't wait to get you to Tanzania. I know 100% we're gonna get you to the top. He was like, I'm about to send you a picture. So he sends me a picture, and it's a picture of him and the main mountain guide, Winford. And he said, this guy, this is our main guide, and he's gonna be our main guide for us, for your group as well. So you're gonna meet him and you're gonna love him. So he sends me the picture, and it comes to my phone, and I see this picture, and it literally takes my breath away. And I'm like, Joey, this guy in the picture, I've been dreaming about him for 2 years. He's like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I'm like, well, call me crazy, but when I have dreams, I dream that this is the man I'm supposed to marry. And when he speaks to me, because of his accent, I thought he was from Jamaica. I didn't realize that he was Tanzanian. And he's like, Erica, you are absolutely batshit crazy. You're crazy. And I'm like, hey, call me crazy, whatever, but I've seen this man in my dreams. I think that this is the man I'm supposed to marry. He's like, well, let me tell you, you are gonna fall in love with him. So that was that. We never really talked about it again. This was very close now to time to leave. We were also filming for a documentary that will be coming out in 2024 called Meandering Scars, which is all about my life and my reason behind climbing Mount Kilimanjaro and my own battles with suicidal ideation and depression, PTSD, and anxiety. I'm not going to talk anymore about that because, again, it's coming out in 2024, so you can stay tuned for that. But fast forward, so September 12th, we landed in Tanzania. And it was really late at night. They get me off the plane, and I remember Joey scrambling around on the flight line looking for my wheelchair. And because the Tanzanian airport, they didn't understand that I needed my own wheelchair. So he's carrying me around, he's looking for my wheelchair, he finds it, he sets me in my wheelchair. And so it was like the first time that like my feet, so to speak, metaphorically hit the ground in Tanzania. And they were filming me for the documentary. And I was so overcome with emotion, I just started bawling my eyes out. And they're filming me, and they're like, Erica, can you tell us why you're crying? And the only thing that I could say was, I'm home. I'm home. I feel like I'm home. I've never had this feeling before. And they're like, well, maybe it's just because you've waited for so long to get here. And I'm like, no, like, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be. I hadn't even met Winford yet. So we get to the hotel, we go to sleep, we wake up the next day, we have breakfast, and then they gather all of us together so that we can meet our guide, Winford, and our assistant guide, Moshe, and do our, what's called, it's the orientation, the briefing, where the guides explain to us all the things we need to know. They make sure that we have all of the right equipment and gear for the mountain, because let me tell you, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is no easy feat. It is definitely, it still to this day is the most difficult thing physically and even more so mentally that I've ever done. And I have done some pretty crazy stuff in my lifetime. So we go by the pool, and I remember Winford, we actually have a picture of this that I will share in the video. we go by the pool, and Winford looks at me, and Joey's like, Erica, this is Winford. Winford, this is Erica. And he gives me this big smile, and he goes to shake my hand. And I was like, no. Can I hug you? And he said, okay, sure. And so
You can hug me.
yeah, you can hug me. So he bends down, he hugs me, and I made it really, really awkward because that's what I do. But I knew as soon as this man put his arms around me that I was home. And that this was the man that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with. This was the man that I was seeing in my dreams. And I 110%, I'm not really religious, but I'm very spiritual. And I 1,000+% believe that this is the man that God made for me to spend the rest of my life with. And so as I hug him and I'm making it awkward, Joey and the other guys, Jonathan and them, they start laughing because they already know, without Winford knowing, that in my head, I'm going to marry this man. Poor guy, you had no idea. So they laugh, and Joey says, Winford, Erica seems to think that you're the man she's supposed to marry. You're her husband. And he said, I've always wanted to marry a white woman. And he kind of laughed. In that moment, baby, did you think we were serious?
Yeah, do you remember very well, after we back from the Kili trip, we were on the way down to Splendid Hotel. Yeah, the Joy told me about this, and I tell the Joy, can you look at me?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Yes, yeah, she's serious. She come to marry you.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I love her the way you are. Yeah, and
here we are.
Final, our dreams coming through.
Yeah.
Now
so,
we're husband and wife.
That's right. Actually, we climbed the mountain, and there were some things on the mountain that happened along the way, but we want to save that for the movie. I don't want to give too much away because you'll see a lot of this. And again, it was totally unexpected for both of us. But there were things on the mountain throughout that week where we got closer and we started to have little mini conversations. It was really hard because we were never able to be alone on the mountain, and he was working. His main job was to keep everybody safe and to make sure that we all got to the top. But on the bus, on the way back to the hotel after we summited, he sat with me on the bus. And that was really, really the first time that we had any length of time together by ourselves with no interruptions. And we're really able to start talking. And I think that's when you realized I really was serious. And that is when he actually asked Joey, was on the bus, like, is she serious? Like, look at me in my eyes, brother, and tell me, is this girl serious? And Joey said, yeah, she's being serious. She really, really thinks that you're the man that she's supposed to marry. So then the conversation started, and actually you promised me. So the next day we had just one whole day at the hotel before we had to leave to go back to the United States. And you promised me you would spend the day with me, and you kept your promise.
Yeah, I remember, and then we shared the contact. I think maybe I'm the last one to just share with me the contact.
Yeah, you were. We shared our contact on WhatsApp, and it was really crazy because he was the last one that I got his number. But it would really, because I wanted to make sure that he was comfortable. I got very close to a couple of the other guys that were a part of our crew, and actually they are some of our best friends and brothers here in Tanzania now.
Yeah, Joseph, Moshe, and Waziri.
Yeah, Joseph and Moshe and Waziri. And to this day, I mean, they're family to us. But Winford was the last phone number I got. But really it was because I was nervous. I was afraid if I asked him for his phone number, maybe he would say no, or I don't know what I was worried about, but I didn't ask until the last day.
Even me a little bit worried, so I think maybe it's like a joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I realized after we back from the summit, I think maybe we're on the way down to Rumbo.
Yeah.
And then I hug you, and you hug me, and you kiss me. And I realized, okay, she's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I hope one day she can marry me.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now our dreams coming true.
yeah.
So now we are a couple.
So you
husband
remember
and wife.
one of the things I said to you, so that last day when we spent the day together, I looked him in his eyes and I said, I will be back in January or February. I will be back here in Tanzania. And I'm going to come for 3 months. And I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to see what it's like to be together and see if this can work. And there was a lot of other things too that were kind of happening business-wise and nonprofit-wise that were going on in my head that I'm like, okay, there's other projects, so there's other reasons why I need to come here. But it ended up over the next, 5 months, we talked every single day, unless he was on the mountain. We talked on the phone, and it got closer and closer to February 10th, which was the day that I got that. No, I'm sorry, February the 15th.
Yes, about 15.
Was the day that I left United States on Valentine's Day of all days. But that was the day I flew back to be with him. And by that point, we had actually already decided that I was going to stay here at his home with him rather than us get an Airbnb or me live by myself and him just comes, visit me. We had already decided, no, we're going to try to be together at the house and in the village. And